Hey, it's Jason. Today we talk about the iPad Pro in 2020, what to look forward to, and why AirTags are going to be big. Slight change of scene, as you can see. We've got ourselves a colour background. I want to see what you guys think of it. Do you prefer this scene or do you prefer it where it's just lots of light? Also, what do you think of the beard? Are you feeling it? Am I rocking it? You know, we're all indoors, so it's a good time right now to try different things and have different looks. Why not? This is the time. So in today's video, I want us to talk about two different things. iPad Pro 2020, what are the differences, and what's coming for the iPad Pro this year in 2020. And we're also going to dive and look into the AirTags that are soon to come out. There's a lot of information already out there. I think it's going to be quite a big deal when it comes out. Why is that? Well, in this video, we find out a little bit more. Let's go. Okay, before we get started, make sure you have subscribed to the channel. If you haven't yet, this is the time to do it. And just there's a little button with a like. Give it a good like. That will help spread the word and let YouTube know this is a video and a channel where it's happening. Okay? Thank you. That really helps. Now we can get started with the main show. The iPad Pro 2020 plays something really interesting, and that is the fact that it took about 18 months in between devices to be released. Usually it's every year, like clockwork. So there was some expectation as to what the iPad Pro would bring, and at the same time, not all that much. So in reality, we have two primarily strong differences, but they're quite subtle. First of all, we have LiDAR that's been built in to the iPad Pro 2020. And what that basically means is that you have a lot more intelligent scanners that will help with creating AR areas and AR imaging. And that's an area that Apple is particularly keen and interested in moving forward, and has been really for the last 3 or 4 years, very openly so. AR is a huge space for them, and we'll touch a little bit more on that later. So the LiDAR scanner, which gave it a slightly bigger camera bump at the back, is what is probably one of the main key features. The next one is the fact that it does have a newer processor. Now, in reality, it's not that big a difference. In all the different tests that have been run, when it comes to processing power, they're pretty much par on par. So you're not really getting a hugely more powerful iPad Pro. What you are getting though is an iteration that does reflect the direction in which Apple is wanting to take the iPad Pros moving forward. Now, the new iPad Pro is an interesting device. However, quite possibly the most interesting thing to have come out this year, or have been announced this year for the iPads in general, is the way that the trackpad is going to be connecting with the iPad Pro. Not only that, but the way the cursors are going to be changed and are going to be working moving forward. It's very, very interesting because when we look at it, last year when iPadOS officially launched, they did bake in the use of having a trackpad support, but it was done through accessibility. You had to go into accessibility settings and turn it on for it to be available. But now it is built in as standard, which means as soon as you connect a mouse to the iPad, it will work. As soon as you connect a trackpad to the iPad, it will work. You no longer have to go into accessibility settings to turn it on. And the way that it works and the way that it does what it's doing, it's really interesting. Because as Apple is known, it isn't the first to do something. It isn't the first to jump in there and do things new and different to everybody else. What it does is it understands what the new trends are and how things are going, and little by little looks at ways to integrate that into its system, into its experience, so when it's implemented, it's done in the absolute best way possible. What's really interesting about the new trackpad is that it really starts to put the iPad Pro into the opportunity or into the position where it can become a computer for everybody to use. Now, there is a slight catch with this, and that is that the iPad Pro will soon be having a brand new keyboard with a built-in trackpad, but it's going to cost you £350. for the 12.9-inch iPad Pro, or $350. It's quite steep. If you think about that, that's basically the cost of a new iPad. It's not cheap. However, it will be interesting to see how it works and how it connects. AirTags. Now, this doesn't sound sexy. It doesn't sound remotely interesting, perhaps. However, the AirPods really made a difference. If we go back to what Apple did, which made them really exciting, was when Steve came back, did the iMac, computers, fine, but what really got them to skyrocket was the iPod. It's those small digital technological devices that we use and that we carry where Apple really shines and really connects with people. AirTags are going to be exactly the same, but what's going to be very interesting about them, unlike other devices like your AirPods or your iPod or your iPhone, is you will own multiple AirTags. No longer will you have to worry about where is your bag, where is your phone, although you have Find My iPhone, where are your keys, maybe you have luggage or you have other items on you that you don't want to lose. AirTags are going to do something very interesting in a very unique space. AirTags are going to be built into Find My iPhone. So in the same way as we use Find My, the app that allows us to find our iPhone, find our Apple devices, find our friends if they're also using the same app as us, we will also be able to use AirTags to start finding different devices and different things, objects that we want to be able to find, maybe our wallet. The list is endless. Now, what's very interesting about this is that it's been pretty much the worst kept secret by Apple, as there's been leaks of it being included inside the operating system, being included inside just the settings within the actual operating systems and updates that are going out and that are available to people. So we know AirTags are coming. We also know roughly what they look like based on people digging very deeply into the software to find icons that allow people to know the direction in which it's going. This is going to work in the same way as your phone currently does and has done since it came out, to help track, and that's using Wi-Fi, assisted GPS, and cellular data triangulation of cell towers so that people can more or less understand where they are in relation to different objects. This is something that's going to be built in as standard for anybody that wants to join this and be part of this, so they can help really spread that out. So it's not just you connecting to your AirTag through Bluetooth, but through this network that is completely encrypted and private and secure, controlled and led by Apple. We were talking a little bit about LiDAR and we're talking a bit about augmented reality. There has also been conversations about how Apple can do something really interesting with this for products like AirTags. Imagine being able to point up into the air with your phone, and in it you see a balloon. And that balloon is going to be coming down, smaller or bigger depending on your distance. And that's going to allow you to be able to go to, find and track using augmented reality that AirTag that you have found. That's pretty cool, isn't it, if you think about it? That's something that LiDAR is going to be able to do and allow technology to be able to do, so that we can really start to connect our real world with this different layers that are put over to give us that extra value. Again, this hasn't yet come out, but I can absolutely see how Apple could do something so uniquely different to everybody else that when you see it, it will become the standard that every other company will adopt. So you may be asking, or maybe you own a Tile, you think, this sounds like Tile, how is this going to be any different? Well, first of all, it's Apple. When Apple joined the game, they do things their way. They have two unique advantages, which people like Tile just frankly won't be able to compete with. Number one, they have their own custom silicon, which they fully control. And that's becoming more and more and more important in the space that we're in with technology. Having that control of that silicon is just so important for things like power, for things like battery efficiency, and so many more other things. So being able to do that is going to be massive. The U1 chip built into the new devices is also going to take that even further. And lastly, the way that an Apple device connects effortlessly and just seems to melt into the Apple ecosystem, there's just nothing else to compare. For example, the way you connect your AirPods to your iPhone, you open up the AirPods, it comes up on a screen, you press connect and you're done. Imagine doing that with AirTags. You turn them on, you connect, you're ready to go. And it just builds itself in and bakes itself in to the Find My app. And it gives you that extended mesh of 1 billion iOS devices around the world to really help you find those devices when you lose them, that technology when you lose them that you value so much. So AirTags is one of those products, like I said earlier on, where it may not feel like it's going to be a revolutionary thing. People are waiting for the next iPhone or the next iPad, but it's happened and it's continuing to happen. The AirPods changed the industry for headphones. It truly did. It set the standard for truly wireless headphones. And now AirTags are going to do something equally interesting in a space. And collectively putting all these together, you start to see some really interesting things taking place. So I can't wait for AirTags to come out. It will be happening this year. Absolutely. I think that's not even debatable now in the industry. What looks more likely than anything is that they're going to announce them. It's going to require a big fanfare and some kind of an event. And the next event is going to be WWDC, which of course is now going to be digital. I think it's dubbed digital. It's being coined as. So in that event, I have no doubt that they will release the video and they'll share the information telling the world about AirTags. So I would say around May, June, July, you'll be able to start purchasing, owning and using these. And no doubt, as soon as they come out, I will be buying one, doing a review and putting it on this channel. So what do you think about the different technologies that are coming this year? Anything particularly exciting to you? How do you feel about AirTags? Is that something that excites you if you're an iOS user, or do you think, meh, whatever? I would love to hear your comments below. And listen, if you haven't already, please do like this video if you found it useful. And if you like the background, let me know as well, because, you know, it's good to know. Also, if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel because it's awesome for the community to continue to grow and for me to be able to create content that I know is bringing value to you. Thank you for watching. Take it easy. Ciao.